What a difference a year makes. This time last year, the Bills fighting for their playoff lives. This year, the last game of the regular season means absolutely nothing as the focus goes on to the playoffs. I'm Kevin Carroll. Welcome to the Buffalo End Zone Podcast, everyone.
And I'm Andy Young. Bills on a mini bye. I'm coming off a mini bye over the last couple of weeks. A lot of holiday vacation time to get rid of. We're back in the swing of things.
Yeah, and here we go, getting ready for the postseason, Andy. And I was just thinking about this as we started. This time last year was wild. It was the Bills could get the 2 seed or not make the playoffs at all going into that final game against the Miami Dolphins down in Florida. And now here we are. We'll spend the bulk of our time today talking about who plays, who gets rested, what's it worth for players to play extra amount of time against the Patriots. We know Josh Allen has his consecutive start streak. He wants to keep that going, so he will get the start. We'll spend some time on that. We'll take a look at the postseason picture as well. The news of the day or the news of the week with not much to talk about as far as games go is Josh Allen and Dawkins named Pro Bowlers, the only 2 Buffalo Bills named to the, I guess you call, I don't even care about
Pro Bowl games.
Yeah, whatever it is now. But they're the 2 guys that made it. They were alternates too for the Bills. But, I mean, no doubt about it. Josh Allen, well-deserved. Does this kind of, when you look at that, lock him up for league MVP? Because he's the first quarterback on the list, not Lamar.
Yeah, he's named the starter of the games, which is an exhibition, not even really a game. But Dawkins and Allen both named starters. Dawkins 4th straight, Allen's 3rd as a player. And there is that argument that because the Bills only have 2 Pro Bowlers on a team that is the 2 seed, could have 14 wins if they beat the Patriots at the end of this, and then the Ravens have 9 Pro Bowlers.
Right.
And they have 2 less victories. That, to some people, enhances the case for Josh Allen to be the MVP. Look, he's only got 2 Pro Bowlers. One of them's him.
Right.
Right? The other's his left tackle. None
Yeah.
of his skill position guys. Nobody on defense. So Josh has been doing a lot with a little, right? To the eyes of the media nationally, perhaps. And I think that is another case. That's something that people have been talking about throughout this MVP discussion that's gotten ridiculous over the last 2-3 weeks, is that Allen is doing more with less. And I think for some degree that's true.
And I think that does play a role. Over the weekend, we're in the middle of the week. So
Feels like the weekend.
On New Year's Day, a national guy was making the case for Sam Darnold to actually be in the mix. And, you know, what Sam has done there with the Vikings. But I still think with the Vikings, they'd still be pretty good no matter who is playing quarterback. I think, you know, the Ravens could be where they're at right now with or without Lamar. And Josh Allen just means so much to this Bills team that it's hard to get around that if you're a national guy and you look at now what the Pro Bowl roster is set up to be, that it really is Josh Allen and Dawkins kind of helps them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not willing to say that the Ravens would be just as good without Lamar. They've been okay at times when he's been out of the lineup, and you look at when Tyler Huntley was in the lineup. But Lamar is having a fantastic season. There's a case for him to be MVP. There's no doubt about that. I don't think it's head and shoulders that Allen is a lock to be unanimous MVP by any means. I think Lamar is having a great year, but I think Josh, for what he means to his team and the way that he's done it, outweighs the little bit of extra stats that Lamar Jackson has on him this season.
Yeah, and everyone will look at the highlight reel plays. It just seems like Allen.
I keep saying it's moments too, right? Like big moments and big time plays, wow moments. That factors into the way people vote.
James Cook is a first alternate along with Connor McGovern, the Bills running back. Many are saying if you look at what Cook has put up and you look at the 3 running backs who are in there, that maybe James Cook got a little bit hosed on this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got over 1,000 total yards. He's got 17 touchdowns. He's had a fantastic season. I think when the news came out that he said something along the lines on X of you put your best up and it's still not enough. What do you got to do, right?
Ah.
And then someone asked him, one of the media members today, I believe, if he had any comment about his Pro Bowl snub, and he just said it's BS. He used the full word. But
good for him.
yeah, so he was not happy at all about that. And I think he's definitely – I mean, you thought that Derrick Henry was going to make it.
Absolutely.
Right. And then Joe Mixon's had a nice year, but I think to some degree James Cook's had a better year.
Mm-hmm.
At the Pro Bowl, we were discussing this today. The Pro Bowl seems like a case where the next year after your big year is when you start getting those honors because then people know who you are.
Right.
It's a popularity, it's a notoriety type of thing. So now that James Cook has burst onto the stage with one of the best seasons in Bills history from a running back, not necessarily in terms of total yardage, but definitely touchdowns and the way he's made big plays and the big 40-yard explosive runs, people are seeing that. Maybe it's next year where he gets the credit where it's deserved.
Well, Christian Benford even brought that up, talking about Christian Benford. Wait, did I say that twice?
Yes.
Taron Johnson brought that up, talking about Christian Benford, that as good of a season as Christian Benford has had, maybe he's just not well known enough right now to earn it because, I mean, talk about lockdown cornerbacks. When you look at what Benford has put out there, maybe that's why he's not even an alternate in this. That
who knows who Christian Benford is? He's not a first-round pick.
But he just does his job so well.
Right.
You don't hear his name.
He's incredible. Other teams don't throw his way a lot. He doesn't make a ton of splash plays. Doesn't have a ton of picks or anything like that. So that bodes into it.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't play a ton of man defense. So there's some discussion of whether, you're a lockdown corner, you're a zone corner, or whatever.
Right.
Christian Benford is one of the best cornerbacks in the league and has played really well this season and has for a couple of years now. I think you'll start to hear more about that, especially if the Bills go on another long run and they're able to somehow shut down some of these top receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. DeMar Hamlin, third alternate. Bernard, fourth. And then you have Ed Oliver, Reggie Gilliam, Spencer Brown, and Dalton Kincaid, fifth alternate.
Kincaid's a little head-scratcher.
That's kind of...
Maybe last year.
That, to me, is one of those, his name, where the Bills drafted him, what he did last year and what people assume he's probably doing this year.
It's the opposite of the Benford effect. Benford,
right.
6th-round pick, not well-known, came from a small school. But Kincaid, 1st-round pick, got a great rookie year. That's certainly reputation because he has not had a fantastic year. He's been hurt, didn't have the production so far that we expected of him.
Yeah, and it's the whole mantra of the everybody eats, Andy. I was thinking of who else, like an offensive weapon, might be deserving to be an alternate or anything. And aside from Khalil Shakir, who I think is making a name for himself, for the Bills, but Josh Allen spreading the ball around so much, none of these guys build up gaudy numbers that would make someone who's not as familiar with the team go, I think this guy's being overlooked. I just don't think it's there, but that's fine with the win-first mentality over, the accolades for individuals.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Josh, Dion, and then Benford and Cook are the clear snubs.
Okay.
Beyond that, I mean, you can make a case for a few different guys to have their shot. I mean, McGovern's had a nice year.
Mm-hmm.
That O-line has been really good. And I think Spencer Brown's had a nice year. He'll get knocked because of the penalties sometimes. But, as far as skill position guys, you're right. I mean, we talked about this before we walked in here. 13 different pass catchers have caught a touchdown this season.
Right.
They're spreading the ball around. Everybody eats. They weren't joking.
Yeah.
We've seen times where it didn't work. We've seen times where most of the time this season it has worked. And the ball's going to all different targets. And that's just kind of the nature of it. And I don't think anybody really cares, except for maybe James Cook. He wasn't happy. But he's got his touchdowns this year.
Right.
So, yeah.
So there you go. I think you and I are on the same page with that. The big game against the Patriots, Andy, coming up on Sunday. We're going to see a lot of backup players, I think, on both teams as this game progresses. But what we do know,
Drake May's starting for the Patriots.
So here's my thing, because this has been in discussion since there was a report earlier in the week that the Patriots might sit him. Why wouldn't you sit this kid? I mean,
isn't he banged up a little bit?
So here's my thing. I think he has like a finger injury or something like that, but he did miss time with a concussion during the regular season and left the game against the Chargers after a hit to the head and missed some time. He cleared concussion protocol and re-entered the game. But he's the only player you have right now on the Patriots. And I get it. Well, if they sit Drake May, they're just tanking for the first overall pick. Irrelevant to me if Drake May is the future of my team. If you flip that around when the Bills were making their comeback, would you play Josh Allen if the roles were reversed?
It depends on how much you value the reps and value him just going out there and preparing and getting ready for a game.
Getting
and
the
playing.
crap kicked out of him because their O-line stinks.
Right.
Fun day.
They almost beat the Bills last time
I know
out 2
they
weeks
did.
ago. So I don't know. He looked pretty good against them. Maybe they think it's a get-right game for Drake May.
But Josh Allen, Andy, will start.
Yep.
Keep his consecutive streak going. And I'm on the fence. Does he just start, hand the ball off a few times, and then come out? Or does he actually try to put a drive together to start the game?
I would lean towards maybe he plays that first series, and then that's it. But, boy, you don't want that dude hurt, right?
No.
So do you have him hand off to James Cook and then out-trots Mitch Trubisky a play later? I think that could be certainly a possibility.
I mean, the whole idea from Sean McDermott is to get ready for game day. He wants all the players to get ready. We hear this during preseason. We hear this during the return of the blue and red that McDermott wants the process of everyone getting ready for a game. But does that mean then you just take Josh out after that one handoff?
I do.
I mean, I think that's the call right here.
Right.
I don't see any purpose in him doing anything other than that.
Do you remember the game where they played Miami in a meaningless game for them in Week 18 or 17 at the time, and Miami needed it to get in? Josh played just a half,
Right.
and they destroyed the Dolphins.
They blew them out of the water in that game. And I think there was a game against the Jets towards the end of the season, too, where the Bills kind of had their place in. So I just think you're not seeing Josh for an entire half of football.
Oh, no. I would say not more than a series, perhaps, and I think strongly should be less than a series. There is no reason to have him out there. Josh Allen knows how to play. It's fine. Let Mitch Trubisky get the reps. Let him get his record.
Yeah.
Continue his streak, whatever it is, as far as consecutive games played, and move on.
Absolutely. And we'll see but some of these wide receivers who are dealing with nagging injuries, I don't think, obviously with the roster, some of them are going to have to play, but I don't see that being like Amari Cooper, why bother with him? Khalil Shakir, why bother? Maybe Dalton Kincaid can take a blow as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't start most of those guys. I don't play most of those guys. Obviously, Curtis Samuel's banged up. You might as well keep him out.
Yep.
He was still in a red non-contact jersey on Thursday at practice this week. No reason for him to play. I mean, you're going to have to deal with some call-ups. Some guys have to play.
Right.
So whether that's Mac Hollins or whoever that might be, Dion.
Maybe see a lot of Ray Davis and Ty Johnson.
For sure.
For
sure. I mean, maybe Frank Gore gets a call-up. I don't know.
That's an interesting thing on who the Bills are going to call up for this.
Right.
It's not like they can call up a bunch of people.
You don't have just unlimited call-ups, right? Whether Mike White, like if he's up, or if just Josh is the emergency quarterback if something happens to Trubisky.
Right.
I don't know.
But now this gives a chance for someone like Joe Andreessen.
Yeah.
Now, here you go. You're actually starting a regular season NFL game. The scenario, if it were me in his position, wouldn't even matter, who's playing, what's playing. I'm getting my NFL start.
Yeah, it's awesome for Joe. I talked to him today after practice, and he's really excited about it. He goes, this is been like I've been preparing for this the whole time, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say there was more preparation going into a week like this, knowing that he's going to get a lot of playing time, according to Sean McDermott. And what a story for this guy. Like, we've chronicled it throughout the year, and we haven't talked about it as much lately because, didn't need to. But for a guy that was from Buffalo, played at Lancaster High School, went to University at Buffalo, undrafted, signs, gets his shot, makes the most of it, starts that game against the Steelers, and shines. And then he plays a lot of special teams, got in last week in the fourth quarter on defense. I think he led the team in tackles in just a quarter.
Good for him.
Right.
That's great.
And now he'll get to play most of the game, which is awesome for that kid. It's great stuff.
Imagine growing up a Bills fan in Buffalo, playing for them in your first start. I know the Patriots aren't the Tom Brady Patriots of old, but that's got to give you an extra level of juice, the hatred of the Patriots I'm assuming Joe Andreessen grew up with.
Yeah, and he got to go out as the captain for the coin toss last week, which was really cool against the Jets. I mean, for this guy to have idolized and looked up to Matt Milano as a fan, and a year and a half later he's playing next to him.
That's crazy.
And sitting in a meeting room with him. It's cool. I saw him picture of Von Miller the other day, who's an all-time great and a Hall of Famer. So for Joe Andreessen, he just keeps proving himself every step of the way, and it's really incredible.
It's such a great story. Maybe he should join us on our live podcast and get a little mojo from you and I.
I think so.
We'll get to the live podcast in a little bit, Andy. The big thing, 13 different touchdown receivers throughout the season. That's ties an NFL record. So one game to go. Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. They could break it, get to 14, but you're going to have to find someone new to throw a touchdown pass to. But good news is, if you're playing some backups, you're saying there's a chance, Andy.
I mean, your guy, Alec Anderson, would seem to be a shoo-in. Guy touchdown.
I was all excited. You get down there, you look like you're going to try the sneak with Trubisky, but you get Anderson out there, get him the ball. There you go, 14.
Yeah, I mean, I like having the big guy get the touchdown, let him play in the jumbo package, goal line kind of play, and he sneaks out for a pop pass. I mean, how about Reggie Gilliam, right?
That would be great.
I mean, fullback. He's the guy in the tush push, pushing Josh.
Yeah, he deserves one.
Yeah, Reggie deserves one. He's a former tight end.
He was with the tight ends during practice, so there's probably a role for him as a tight end coming up.
And then, who do they call up? Do they give KJ Hamler a call up? I mean, there's any number of guys. Could it be a different lineman, right?
Right.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. My computer keeps shutting down.
And I talked to Mitch Trubisky after practice today, and he said, we're looking forward to that record. It means a lot to us. We're going to figure out – we've been talking about ways to get somebody involved and make it happen. So keep an eye out on that. If you're looking for storylines in this game where there aren't many, hey, what do you think? Reggie Gilliam gets in there, Alec Anderson, KJ Hamler.
Bold
whoever.
Prediction. Ty Johnson throws a touchdown pass to Mitch Trubisky.
Ooh, there
Bang.
you go. Opening up the playbook.
Yeah,
right?
Pitch it that way,
Yeah.
have Trubisky go the other way. Just 10-yard pass. I think the Bills did that with Josh Allen against the Texans in their first playoff game.
They did. They
Josh
also did it in the Hail Murray game against the Cardinals. Josh caught a touchdown pass.
So it is that's my bold prediction right there, Andy. Mitch Trubisky touchdown reception.
All right, so 2 quarterbacks have touchdown catches for the Bills this season.
That's got to be a record too, right?
I don't know. Maybe Otto Graham did it.
Yeah.
Who was his backup? Bronco Nagurski?
Right. So Andy, when you look at the game itself, and then we'll move on to the playoffs, Bills minus 2.5 in this. I don't even I'm putting this stuff together over under 38 points. I don't think either team cares if they win. I'm sure the Patriots want to end the season on a high note, but there's also that top overall pick dangling out there. And these guys are all pros. They're going to come to play. I just don't know if I see much of the ball doing much of anything.
2.5. I mean, if you're betting on this game,
that's crazy.
I know some of you are out there. You might have a problem. It's like, how do you know? You don't know who's playing.
Right.
How much are the Patriots going to continue to play their starters? Who plays for the Bills?
I even heard that the Patriots might just mirror what the Bills do. As the Bills start pulling starters out, the Patriots are going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say under 38, Bills win. Why not? And cover.
Take the under. Bills win by a couple of touchdowns.
Couple of touchdowns. You think they're going to rock them?
Well, first of all, Mitch Trubisky's going to have one.
I asked Mitch if he thought that he'd go 1 for 1 again in our touchdown pass. He's like, I'm going to try. He hit that pass to Shavers.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's all we really have to say about the game itself, Andy.
We don't care about the game. Big picture-wise, like, this game means nothing. But I think we're going to get into the wild card picture now because that's where the fun stuff starts. The machinations of this weekend and who the Bills are going to play.
Before we do that, though, and again, I'm not taking myself too seriously with this podcast, but I did make this statement, or with the game while we do the podcast. What if Mitch Trubisky throws up big numbers and Terry Pagula wants him to stop?
I'm not even entertaining this. Shut up.
Dude, Rob Johnson was number 11. Trubisky's number 11. I digress. Let's move on to the wild card picture, Andy. Right now, Broncos look like they're going to be the team that's going to face the Bills. Dolphins have a shot at it, and so do those dreaded Cincinnati Bengals.
I mean, yeah, I think it's probably the Broncos, but don't you see a scenario where they choke?
Yes, 100%.
And the Dolphins stink.
Yep.
No Tua, possibly, and they stink. And the Bengals, who are red hot, slide into that spot. It's like every Bills fan's worst nightmare for the people who are like, oh, my God, I don't want to see Cincinnati after 2 years ago in the playoffs. And their offense is ridiculous. Burrow is on fire. Their defense is horrible. So you're probably looking at a Rams-Lions type of game for the Bills if you have to play the Bengals.
Right.
It's probably going to be the Broncos. That is what I think is going to happen, but it would not shock me if something else crazy happens.
Bengals have the Steelers. That's a Saturday night game.
Right, and the other weird part is the Ravens play before the Steelers do.
Right.
So then the Steelers will know whether they can still get into the division race with a win or not. So then it depends on, do they want to play people based on their seeding?
Right.
With the 4-5 Chargers matchup,
against
or the 5-6.
What would likely be a bunch of Chiefs backups on Sunday for the Broncos. And then I don't know, Andy. I do.
What if the Bills?
I feel in my gut that it might be the Dolphins. I honestly do.
Oh, God. I wonder, and we've talked about this a little bit, what if the Bengals sneak in and the Bills have to go Bengals, Ravens, Chiefs?
Ultimate gauntlet.
The redemption arc, right? The Lamar battle, the redemption against the Bengals from 2 years ago, DeMar and that situation and how the fan bases kind of turned on each other. And of course, the Chiefs. You don't have to talk too much about that.
Right.
That would be wild.
To me, the Bengals seem to have this, for at least Bills fans, have left a mark from that playoff game when they knocked the Bills out that just overrides everything else. Like, forget how bad the Bengals defense is. It's just, we can't have the Bengals come in here. It's just going to be too much of a problem.
And have you watched Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins?
They're disgusting.
And Mike Gesicki. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, they just toss the ball over the yard like there's no defense out there.
And we all know that the Bills, with their issues getting off the field on third down, so what the Rams did with Nakua and Cup. And then, the Lions were able to come back in that game on that Bills offense.
If the Bills, what's the most favorable road to you? So the Broncos get in. Would you rather play the Broncos, Bengals, or Dolphins?
Probably the Broncos because of the rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
Bo Nix.
I would agree with that. Although their defense is decent, and they're playing pretty well right now.
Right. I don't even know what's going on with the quarterback situation with the Dolphins, but we all know that Skylar Thompson almost beat the Bills in the playoffs a few years ago.
Yeah. I would least like to play
the Bengals.
The Bengals. Probably most like to play the Broncos if I'm the Bills.
Right. And I know that everyone's been saying this ad nauseum throughout the season, but the Chiefs have the makings of getting knocked off in their first playoff game to me.
You think so?
They do, but from what we've seen all year, it's not going to happen. But it's going to be maybe another gut punch watching, oh, my God, the Bills are going to end up with home field advantage if this team knocks off.
Who is most likely to beat the Ravens?
Oh, I mean,
Steelers.
I would say
Chargers.
I would say the Steelers.
Texans.
I would say the Steelers.
Yeah. I
mean, just because of their familiarity and the fact that they can do it.
Right.
I don't have any faith in Houston that they're going to do much.
Houston's tailed off bad.
And the Chargers.
Chargers could give them a game.
There are games when you watch the Chargers where it just doesn't make sense when the final score is there and they lost.
Right. You're like, holy crap, they're really good some games. And then other games, they don't have it.
Yeah. It's really bizarre. Like, I could not see the Chargers, though, coming out to Baltimore and knocking the Ravens out. The
Harbaugh Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I think Pittsburgh could do it. Obviously, I think the Bills could do it.
Right.
It'll be interesting. And then, what if somebody knocks off the Chiefs?
That's what I'm saying, man.
They would play probably the Houston and the 5 seed, whether that's Cincinnati or not Cincinnati, San Diego or
By the way,
Los Angeles.
Travis Kelce to the Pro Bowl. Come on.
Hey, dude, it's the Pro Bowl.
I understand, but I saw his name on there. I'm like, that's crap, but go on.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going, but I think that there could be a wild ride here. It could be interesting.
Yeah, because you go if you have to beat Lamar and Patrick Mahomes, and if Joe Burrow sneaks in, you got to beat Joe Burrow too.
They'll have earned it, right?
And then what? You get to the Super Bowl and
do you have Detroit? Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold?
Josh Allen's best buddy?
Wouldn't that just be amazing?
Yeah.
Both teams lost 4 Super Bowls. One of them's going to win one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. But
this is the fun.
It's fun to just.
Well, what are we going to talk about? The Patriots? We did enough.
No. All right. Yeah, I mean, we got the teams to beat along the way. Andy, let's do a little 3 and out before we go.
Let's do it.
College football playoffs. Your thoughts so far?
Mostly a snooze fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just has not been interesting. I mean, Ohio State rocking Oregon the way they did. I didn't see that.
Crazy.
That's been the best part of the college football
But
playoff.
talk about ruining your evening. Sitting down, waiting for that game all day, like this is going to be a battle. And just, if you're not an Ohio State fan or an Oregon fan, it was like, what the heck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
I got to put something else on. But,
I mean, good for Penn State.
Right. But
Arizona State made that a game.
Arizona making that comeback kind of took me by surprise, too, against
Right.
Texas.
So it's been better here in the quarterfinals. As we record this here on Thursday around 5:30 p.m., Notre Dame and Georgia
0-0?
Tied 3-3 late second.
Oh, 3-3.
Right.
We've missed some action.
Let's get off this podcast and go watch the end of this game.
Yeah, let's move on.
Little DraftKings action.
PGA is back right now, Andy. They're out in Hawaii. Do you get into the PGA at all this time of year? Because I do, because some of the gorgeous golf courses out in Hawaii they're on. But I also like that it's on late at night because they're out in Hawaii or later in the day. But it doesn't trump football.
I don't really wake up on golf till Masters time.
Okay.
And then I'm into it.
That's fair enough.
Mostly the majors, but I'll watch if it, sitting around on a Sunday and it's back nine of a,
I don't know. Golf to me has made an incredible jump up my favorite sports to watch.
Yeah.
Like
I love to watch it. I just don't give myself enough time to do it.
NFL, college football, golf to me right now.
Really?
Then hockey, I've said this before, I blame the Sabres for just being so frustrating that it's just hard to get that much invested.
I have not. This is sad, but I don't watch hockey games other than the Sabres. A lot of times I don't watch them.
Right.
No, I watch them fairly regularly. And I have not sat and watched an entire baseball game. In the regular season, I'll watch the Guardians when they're in the hunt. If they're not in the World Series, I don't really care. Those two.
I mean, I'm like that with the Red Sox.
I used to love baseball when I was a kid, and I would sit and watch Sunday Night Baseball or whatever WGN game or the Braves were on TBS, and I'd sit and watch that. You couldn't pay me to watch a regular season baseball game in the middle of May anymore.
No, I'm with you. I'm like that with the NBA too, but
You never liked the NBA, though.
I never liked basketball because I was brought up playing hockey all the time.
But you didn't lose it. You never were into it.
Andy, I grew up in Boston when Larry Bird was playing for the Celtics.
I know, but what I'm saying is you weren't into it. So to be like, all right, I never watched the NBA anymore. You never really did care for it anyway.
I also not a fan of wearing a tank top, so I never got into the basketball uniforms as a kid. Was very shy and uncomfortable.
The short shorts?
With the short shorts and the tank top on.
Oh, okay. Wasn't that your gym outfit at school?
No,
back in the day. We were not going to go there.
I don't go back that far to when you had to swim at the YMCA naked. But I digress, Andy. We've been off for a while. What you been up to, man?
Just hanging out with the kids. Did a little Christmas action spread out over a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. We all got sick the week of Christmas.
Awesome.
Stomach bug.
So bad.
I hate when people call it the stomach flu, and I just did that. But norovirus or whatever it's called. That was horrible. Daughter up, throwing up all Christmas Eve into Christmas morning. Not good. Then I got it a couple of days later. It was just horrible. But I was off. I didn't have to work that week anyway.
Right.
So we just sat around, watched TV, did some family stuff.
What'd you watch on TV?
I don't know, sports.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I've watched a ton of football to the chagrin of my wife that every day she's like, those games that are on in the middle of the afternoon. She's like, it's a Thursday. It's 2 p.m. What do you mean you're watching football right now?
Right.
Deal with it.
What does she want to watch?
90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, God.
Some
Christy likes that stuff too.
Some getaway where they're trying to save their marriages or something.
Yes.
It's pretty.
There's one where they switch couples. Isn't there that too?
Something like that.
Oh,
so
God.
I'll watch it, but she's moved on from the Housewives shows. She doesn't like those anymore. Baby steps in the right direction. 90 Day Fiancé is the big thing in my house right now.
Okay. Not a fan.
By the way, do you like comedy? Like stand-up comedy?
Sure.
Nate Bargatze's special on Netflix right now. It just came out. Maybe 5 minutes of it, you're like, but the rest of it is just dying laughing.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And it's clean, and it's good, safe to watch with the kids around.
All right.
Now,
a comedian that's safe to watch with the kids.
Now, what else is safe to watch with your kids? Me, Andy, Stevie Johnson, live at Big Ditch in downtown Buffalo. Well, Stevie might not be safe for kids.
Okay.
But
he wrote a children's book. He's good to go.
That's true.
Yeah, we're having our live on location Buffalo End Zone podcast Wednesday, January 8th at Big Ditch Brewing in downtown Buffalo. We're going to have a meet and greet with fans. Tickets already sold out. It was free, but you had to have a ticket. We can only give out the free drinks and food to so many people, right? But a lot of Bills fans excited about it. Get to hang out with me, Stevie Johnson, Kevin. We've got some special guests. I know Sal Capaccio from WGR, Matt Perino from New York's Upstate in the Bills beat, Elena Getzenberg from ESPN, several others going to be in the house too, so you can chat with them. They're going to hop on the podcast. And then from 8 to 9, after the meet and greet, from 7 to 8, 8 to 9, live podcast on YouTube, Facebook, the normal places where you see us. It will also be on TV across New York State on Spectrum News 1. So we're really excited about that.
I'm looking forward to it. And without telling anyone, Stevie's bringing stuff to auction, apparently.
Yes. Hey, dude's a hustler.
In the meantime, Andy and I will be back to break down the big Bills-Patriots game Sunday following the game. Post-game show in Rochester and Buffalo. Stevie Johnson will be in flight to Buffalo, so it's just going to be you and I. So looking forward to that.
Hey, we're going to break down Joe Andreessen, Tyrell Shavers.
We will. We'll
whoever
get deep
else.
into the numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoever gets that 14th touchdown, it'll be awesome.
Someone's going to get it. So we'll see you then. As always, thanks for joining us, everyone.